A couple of tips before I dive into assemblies. One thing I noticed some people doing is you want to set your estimate to primary. It helps you know that Ediphi has multiple users, so pick your main estimate, make it primary, awesome, and then duplicate it. You can hit duplicate and say this is Kyle's copy, Kyle's test world. Go ahead and just mess with whatever you need to, get comfortable in it. It's a good way to do sandbox world, but everybody working in the same file is what you ultimately want to get once you're happy. Another quick tip is you can go hit the overview button and go to manage estimate sort fields, add one called estimators, create new sort field, call it estimator 2. I'm going to just do it again, estimator 2, and then manage sort fields, add sort code, and this would be KB Kyle. So now you can cross code all your line items to people when they come in, so you can sort it by estimator. And so that's a tip right there. And kind of how that would work is you'd want to bring in the column of estimator. I have two of them on here, but let me bring estimator over here. Let's say I'm doing all the concrete scopes. I'll grab that fill down. Now I can group it quickly by estimator. So then I can hit this little grouper dock. Now all my stuff, I'm kind of in my world. So that way you can kind of keep each other square. But then you can pivot it and look at the whole thing as a whole, which is what we want. We're all trying to work together as a team. Okay, assemblies. So assemblies are great for getting unit prices and building up all the detail. So really it's going to be your concrete person. So your concrete person, this is for you. So to get to the assemblies, you hit add line items, and you'll see if you go to source, click source, first click filter, source, and I'm just going to turn them all. You can be searching for concrete, like you could search for pile cap, and it'll show up. It'll show up with this little assembly. That's an assembly, that's an assembly, that's an assembly. But you can also look at them in kind of a massive list right here. Assemblies, just to find them all. What are all the assemblies I got? Well, we're going to do pile caps. I already dropped that one in, but I want to do a structural slab and maybe slab and metal deck because I know there's a lot of it. I don't know what the thicknesses are. And you hit review line items and then drop it in your use group that makes sense and drop them in. So assemblies is just a child or a parent and a child. So when you click on this little gear, what will happen is you have it's all the widgets underneath it: forming, rebar, place, pump, concrete. That's really it. And you can right click this one and say set as assembly quantifier. I was doing this on the last video with this each thing. So how this works is if you go into these formulas and you see that, oh, it's saying go to this geometry worksheet. This geometry worksheet is back in the back. So I should just start this from scratch because I was doing this in the last video. Let me just start over. Insert pile in. So you click this little bolt, go in here, you'll be like, why do they all say 0? Well, you'll click this, it's geometry worksheet, okay? Geometry worksheet is just where you can add a bunch of shapes or objects of geometry, and they all aggregate. So in this example, we have a bunch of pile caps, and where are we going for pile caps? So pile caps, here they are, sweet. You can go check out, view the pile caps kind of section details and what they are. There's a lot of work just on pile caps. You can stick somebody on pile caps and you'll have a heyday. So PC1, PC2, you just add them all, right? PC2, add them, go take them off. what do we say there? 4.5 by 10 by 4.5. I think that was the PC1s. PC2s. You get the point. You got to go fill those out, and then you got to go count them. Say there's 50 and 20. So this is in cubic feet, and this is in square foot, square foot. So if you go to the line items, these should all roll up from the geometry worksheet. But you're like, why are these 0? Well, click on the 6000 PSI and you realize select geometry worksheet. Oh, I got to pick it. How is concrete calculated? Well, I want all of them, and I want the volume divided by 27 to get the cubic yards, because that's our unit of measure. Check. And you're like, well, why is this one 0? Well, let me fix this one. This one, formwork is vertical surface area. Sweet. And why is pumping jacked up? Same thing. Geometry. Pumping, this assembly, all. Pumping is, how is it set up in this database? 14 caps a day. So I picked the quantity there. Did that kind of quick. So there you go. That's a pile cap example. And cubic yards is fine too. And you do have to have an overline quantity. See how this one's bold? You can right click and say set assembly quantity right there, and that'll roll up to the parent. But obviously cubic yards is probably fine. Okay, so now let's talk structural slab. So who's ever doing the structure, I would highly suggest that you go through each, on the area sheet, somebody's got to, we got levels 1 through 25 or 26, however many levels there are. That's the gross area, right? It includes the whole footprint. But the structure gross area is what you're actually standing on, the footprint. So, like, to give you an example, here's the gross structure. You want to go take it off on the whole widget. So it's 51,000 square feet. Obviously, I got to back out other things. It's a little less than that, but you get the point. So, we got concrete on that side and slab of metal deck on that side. So you're just going to really go through, well, first step is what's my gross square foot structure, because it's really easy to miss this when you're just taking, you want to have a back check is the whole goal of gross square foot structure, because your concrete, all the stuff you stand on better add up to the gross square foot structure, right? It's a double check. So if I'm doing this, I'm just going to go measure all the levels in a takeoff tool and kind of aggregate them. And so that's probably the easiest way to do it. So let's say I aggregated them all, total for the concrete. Let's do the concrete. Pretend this is all the levels. And let's just say this is 17,000 times 20. And so I'm going to go to my detailed summary, do the structural supported slab. Obviously, if they're different dimensions, you're going to have to duplicate these, make more of them, and call them. But let's go to the widget. So what I would do, you could point this to, I don't know, I'm just going to overcomplicate it. You don't even need to use formulas. If you aggregate it, let's say it's 17,000 times 20 floors. So we have 340,000 square foot of concrete slab that we're standing on. Makes sense? And maybe you want to add the perimeter too. You need to get the perimeter, so that's going to be your edge forms. So it's 10,000 times 20 floors too, or whatever that ends up being. Safety rail around the structure. Oh, cool. So I hit escape. Good thing it's saved. So slab thickness. You can kind of mess with all these formulas. How's it calculating this? You're like, man, I gotta get my pounds per square foot of rebar. Maybe the slab changes at every level. You can go ahead and just rename this levels 2 through 5 or whatever you need to do. So that's what you could do there. And when you do your slab of metal decks, same exact thing. You want to assembly quantity. It looks like this one's, it's interesting how these are a little different. This isn't our database. This is the purchased Ediphi database. But let's say this one's, let's go look at our example. So we had slab metal decks. We had roughly 38,000 on levels, I think 1 through 7 too. do steel and then it transitions. Let's say 38,000 times 8 wheat. So we got rebar. Is there weld-to-wire mesh? I don't know. I'd have to find that out. If there's not, nuke it. You don't need it. Safety rail at perimeter. Probably gonna need that. There's no formula there, so you got to kind of use your brain. But all in all, this all rolls up to $8 a square foot. Fascinating. So there you go. That's assemblies in a high level nutshell. So let's talk. I guess that's it for this training. All right, happy hunting.